Hi, welcome to test number 9 in the Total Tactics testing series. I have been waiting and kind of sitting on this tactic that we're going to talk about today for a few weeks because it seems like everybody has put out a tactic in this shape. But I kind of decided that, you know what? This result is too good to keep private, and I really wanted to share with you how good this tactic can be. So it is going to be a tactic, as you've probably seen from the title and the thumbnail, a 4-3-1-2 tactic, one that's been popular across the platform this year on Football Manager 22, and has a lot of you have probably had a lot of joy with this tactic in your personal saves. I know for one, GYRFM and Hood Gaming have worked a lot on this kind of system, and they've done incredible work. And so I think my tactic is a little bit different, and we'll talk through some of the things that make it unique, show you some nice highlights. But before we get to the results and those highlights, let's take a look at the tactic itself. And remember always to like and comment on the video and hit that subscribe button so you're getting notified for more of the Total Tactics video series. All right, so this is the tactic. Now, one thing that I kind of want to talk about quickly is the concept of channels. So a lot of tactics, like let's say for instance, just a standard 4-4-2, that is a 4-channel tactic. Channels are the vertical areas of the field in which players will make their runs, right? So there's an outside channel, 2 inside channels, and then the far channel as well. So 2 outside, 2 inside maybe is a better way to put it, but other tactics like a 4-3-3 or even a 4-2-3-1 kind of have more of a 5-channel field because they do have a central channel for that striker and then 2 other central channels that kind of the midfielders tend to run in, or the ball playing defenders push in, and then the wide channel that the fullbacks and whatever kind of wingers or inverted wingers use as their starting point for whatever runs they're making as well. So it's kind of like a 5-channel thing, right? So 4 and 5-channel tactics, probably something you've thought about a lot. Now, this tactic is also a 5-channel tactic, but at times it's almost a 7-channel tactic, or another way to think of it might be a 5-channel narrow, because the way I've set these Metzalas up here in this like a 4-3-1-2 is that they are not set to run wide with the ball. So, right, they're not going to occupy this wide area. Instead, they're going to make wide runs up this channel, right? Which normally in a normal tactic, you would say is not the widest channel in a 5-channel tactic, right? But these Metzalas, especially when they don't have the ball, will hold this channel really well, right? So now we do have like this channel here inside the Metzala. Between the advanced forwards, we have this like central channel where there's a runner. And then the same thing on the other side, right? This advance forward, this Metzala that kind of stays like in this channel. So it is sort of 5 channels, but is compressed where it's just like 5 channels narrow. This inverted wingback, because it's on support and has some like defensive player instructions, will not overlap, right? It will not make use of the potential 7th channel, but because it is still a fullback, it will sit out here in this like wider-ish position, and their defensive left and defensive right backs will kind of have to keep an eye on the inverted wingback, which maybe holds them and prevents them from collapsing into one of those like interior channels, which that's a concept we've talked a lot about on the channel. So hopefully you are familiar with what I'm talking about, how the inverted wingbacks put a hold on the opposing fullbacks and prevent them from collapsing to help on the inside. So that's how I think this tactic generates like a lot of overloads. And I think you'll see that in the like highlights that we look at. So I just have the advanced forwards kind of holding their channel. Like you can't turn off move into channels, but we have made sure that stay wider's not turned on, run wider the ball's not turned on, so shoot less often. They are going to just kind of stay, pin back the defense, create space for the Metzala and the Shadow Striker to like cause overloads. So that's the tactic. You know, it's a positive tactic. Like it has a lot of the same instructions we've used on other tactics on the channel, but it is a new shape. Metzala is not something we've seen a lot of. This DLP defend role is not something we've seen a lot of, and it almost makes it play a little bit like a diamond, but It is in this 4-3-1-2 shape, and the results are incredible. So let's take a look at a couple highlights before we get to those results, and hopefully you like what you see and maybe try this in your own save. In this first highlight, I don't want to take a ton of time with it because it's a pretty short highlight, but I think it really illustrates the narrow 5 channels that I was talking about in the tactics description section. So what you'll see is see one of the Metzalas and the ball playing defender just playing keep away for a little bit while they let for the play develop. So right here it's the Shadow Striker kind of dropping deep, and this is sort of like, how can the tactic maintain possession, right? Bremer to Zielinski, right? Muriel back to Bremer, now back to Zielinski, back to Bremer, back to Zielinski, back to Bremer, right? Back to Zielinski. And right here is where I'm going to pause it, okay? Because one of the things here that you'll see as this like play develops is, where are the players going in their channels, right? So right here we have like Muriel, Osimhen, Pessina is a Metzala. Shadow Striker here is Insigne, okay? So as Zielinski gets on this ball, and I think he passes it to Bremer one more time before this play fully develops, but you also have like Di Lorenzo out here, right, holding this fullback, keeping this fullback from really collapsing, which might mean this fullback actually picks up the Metzala, which might leave Muriel open. Then Insigne can attack that spot too, right? So all the kind of things we have been talking about on the channel. So let's see one more time. I think he gives it back to Bremer, right? And now when this pass goes to Zielinski, Insigne's made his move, right? So here's Muriel, here's Insigne, here's Osimhen, and here's Pessina. This is a 4-on-2, right? This defender out of position, this defender out of position. So this is right now is a 4-on-2 in this tactic. So it ends up being that Zielinski has a pretty easy ball to Osimhen, and then it's an easy finish for Osimhen. So the channels developed, right? Zielinski was in one of the channels, and then the other 4 attackers all had a channel to themselves as well, and there just weren't enough defenders to cover them all. It's a really powerful tactic. Okay, on this highlight, Pessina is going to start the play. This is one of the Metzalas in the tactic, and here he has Biragi, who's currently playing as the left inverted wingback. And this is an example where in a normal tactic, Pessina might play this ball into space here, and Biragi might run onto it as a fullback or a wingback, but that's just not how he's going to behave here. You could view it as a missed opportunity, but I think it ends up like benefiting more than normal, and this play will result in a goal. But just like you can see this little behavior here, Biragi checks up his run, Pessina plays it wide, and then he plays it back to Pessina. So it takes until now for Pessina to get it into the middle. So Pessina's like out of position here, but so is this fullback. So Versalco, again, right, is spying this inverted wingback who never overlaps. So he's not even in the like line of defenders right now. So instead, we have like the 2 central defenders, Savic and Hermoso, and then they have Carrasco here playing left back in this game. So Insigne is going to receive this ball with 2 players, but like really Carrasco's not marking anyone. Zielinski's set to make a run and create an overload here with Hermoso, and you just will see the chaos that these 4 players are able to make with this fullback out of the way and this midfield just not sitting deep enough to really insert themselves into the defensive equation. So I'll hit play here. Insigne to Osimhen, lays it off to it's just like the pin, like Zielinski, and I think back to Insigne. The pinball passing there through the middle, just extremely impressive. Insigne with 2 goals in this game, but you kind of see like the hold that inverted wingback put on Versalco, and that just created a massive numbers advantage in the middle of all of those narrow channels that the players are occupying for another goal. All right, on this tactic, it's going to illustrate something that this tactic isn't meant to illustrate. The advanced forwards do not have the stay wider instruction like they do in so many of the tactics on the channel, but it's kind of a happy accident that we see a passage of play that sort of is like that. So the players I want you to watch the movement of here is especially Insigne, and then a little bit what happens when Pessina has the ball. Over here off camera above my head and Insigne is actually, you can only see the tip top of his head right there above my picture, but watching those players as this play develops, and Osimhen is here off camera, is the best way to sort of understand what's going on here, right? So the direct ball to Pessina, and here Wijnaldum's looking, and has Insigne marked. And we've got Osimhen over here with flanked by Hakimi and Kimpembe. So what are Kimpembe and Hakimi really going to do, and how is Wijnaldum going to react to this next pass? Because this pass is going to bypass Verratti and take Verratti out of the play. So it's really going to be this triangle left versus these two players. So let's see how this continues to develop, right? So here we go. Pessina finds Osimhen, and now Verratti is behind, right? He's behind even the trailing run. And when that ball went to Osimhen, Wijnaldum was caught ball watching. He wanted to maybe see if he could intercept that pass. And then by the time he realized he's never going to get there and turned back to his marker, Insigne is gone. Kimpembe doesn't realize this has happened. He starts chasing down Osimhen, who he thinks Hakimi is lost as well. So you can all see what happens. There's a massive gap at the back. Insigne is there to attack it, and it's an easy goal. But it's just something to remember that this tactic is very powerful because it has 5 attacking runners. So if any one of them has the ball, there's still 4 more people on the pitch trying to exploit the spaces that are being created by the attacker who has the ball. It's something that if you can get that kind of 5-channel attack with attacking players all available as goal-scoring options whenever there's a defensive error, then your tactic is going to score buckets of goals. And I think if you implement this tactic in your save, you'll see the same. Let's take a look at some of the results, though, and see how many goals did this actually score. My, oh my. Hopefully you think from those highlights there are some pretty powerful attacking movement, especially between those two strikers. And this tactic in the Elite League won it by 9 points with a plus 39 goal difference. Just like an incredible result in the Elite League. Something that like it is hard to replicate with very many tactics on this channel. The Balanced League too, even better. Even though it didn't win all 4 divisions, 90 points and plus 69 in the Balanced League is an incredible result. Like I can't do anything about Liverpool getting 95 points, right? Like especially since like if you look at the losses, we lost all of the games to Liverpool. So maybe I could have done something a little bit different, but maybe it just illustrates Liverpool's 4-3-3 as a weakness for this kind of tactic as well. So that's something to think about. But those are all of the losses are Liverpool. If we turn around, right, 2 of those, just go 2-2, we win the division, you know? So we're beating up on a lot of these teams here with this tactic, and the plus 69 goal difference is just ridiculous in the Balanced League. In the Average League, this plus 67 goal difference is also absurd. The 86 points is very high for this division. It's hard to separate yourself from the pack in the Average League, and this tactic has done just that. And in the Underdog League, which we'll go ahead and expand the league table for, look at this. 127 goals, 101 points, and only 27 allowed. Just like an absurd 100 goal difference. This is like maybe the best underdog teams result we've had on the channel so far. So this tactic really does like beat up on the minnows of your leagues that you might be in. So if we take it back and look at some of the other peripherals in the Average League, scored 103, only allowed 36, great result, defensively stable, tons of goals. In the Balanced League, even more of the same, right? 97, but only allowed 28 in this division. So another great result, Liverpool allowing only 15 goals on a 36-game season. They really do feast on this division. And then in the Elite Teams League, scoring 89, that's the tops in the division, and a very good goal-scoring output for this. I think we've only had one tactic crack 100, maybe 2, 100 goals in the Elite League, so 89's nothing to scoff at. 50 goals allowed is also pretty good. It's the third or fourth best defense in the division, but when you pair it with that offense, it's just like impossible to overcome this tactic, and that's why like a 9-point gap at the top of the table here for Napoli is unsurprising. Finally, in this Elite Team leagues, I'll show you really quickly in this division where the goals are coming from. Victor Osimhen and Luis Muriel had 60 goals between them in the league season, so it is coming from the strikers. Zielinski played as one of these Metzalas, had 16 assists. The other Metzala would have been Pessina, who had 6 goals and 7 assists. The shadow striker was Insigne in this tactic, 8 goals, 10 assists, like just getting good output from a lot of the players around the pitch. Not just the strikers. So it's a balanced tactic. It's one that I think you can do very well with. I highly encourage this in a long-term save. It's something that is like just it's effective, and I think you'd find a lot of joy. So go ahead and try this out. You can always download the tactics from this series in our Discord server, which there is a link in the description to join that Discord. Navigate to the Tested Tactics YouTube channel, and you'll find a link to the video here, this video, and a download of the tactic itself, and a link in the description on that channel to a Dropbox folder where all the tactics are archived. So join the Discord, get involved in the conversation, and test your own tactics out, and let us know in the Discord how those are doing. So for this video though, like and get involved in the comments. Let me know what you think about this shape, or if you have any other suggestions to improve it. I always love hearing from you in the comments on the videos, and of course hit that subscribe button. Also, I stream 2 or 3 times a week on Twitch. That link is in the description as well, and I hope to see you there. Thanks a lot, and we'll look forward to more tactics testing videos in the future.